Good afternoon, Rotarians. We're going to start on a little solemn note. Longtime second generation Club 99er, investment banker, veteran, and community volunteer Jay French Hill passed away on October the 10th. Condolences to Congressman French Hill and your family. Howard Hurst will pay tribute to him shortly, but please join me now in a moment of silence. Thank you. And now I'd like for past President Christina Bohaus to lead us in the four-way test, prayer, and pledge.
Good afternoon, everyone. We will start with the four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Please bow with me in prayer. Creator of all, we are thankful for this day you have given us, for its blessings, its opportunities, and its challenges. Grant us patience as we continue to deal with uncertainty in the world. Grant us the courage to make difficult decisions, and grant us your guiding hand. Remind us always of the importance of service above self, and be with our Rotary District and with Rotarians everywhere. Amen. And now for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Christina. Thanks to our greeters team, Susan Johnson, Don Cole, Kim Estes, and always thanks to Greg McCarroll for his ongoing support. Next, Secretary Tammy Davis will introduce our guests. President nominee Jason Chaco will join us for a flag exchange, and membership chair Molly McNulty will introduce and welcome our newest member to Club 99.
Thank you, President Peacock. It is delightful to be with all of you today. It's nice to come together on this cool weather day in Arkansas. It's the first we've had in a while like this, and it's nice that we have soup to enjoy. But above and beyond that, we have the warm company of those in our attendance today. So I'm going to ask those who are visiting with us to please stand, and their respective Rotarians that have been so considerate to invite them to stand along with them. If you'll hold on to your applause till the end, and if you all will stay standing, that would be great. Marshall Ray is visiting with us, and he is with Patricia Blick today. We also have Beck Dwyer-Coop visiting with Jay Gadberry. And then we have Nikki Smith, who's a guest of Scott Davis. Thanks to each of you for being here with us. We have some visiting Rotarians, but I'm going to let Jason Chaco take care of that.
Good afternoon, Rotarians.
Good afternoon.
Wonderful. I miss that. We are very excited to welcome two guests. One of the cool things about Rotary is it goes beyond the club that we have here. As we'll hear about the district later, we get to hear about an international club here. So we have two visiting members, excuse me, old habits die hard, two visiting members of Rotary Club 87102, correct, out of Mysore, India. So they are the past secretary and executive director of the immediately of their club here. So I'm going to let Letha and Saeed come up and tell us a little bit about their club.
Good afternoon, friends. Namaste to all of you. District Governor Rotarian David Mans, First Lady of the District, President Rotarian Denver R. Peacock, Secretary Rotarian Tammy S. Davis, our good friend, President nominee Rotarian Jason Chaco. Because of his initiative, we are here today and the members of Club 99 Little Rock Rotary Club. I am Rotarian Lata Sachi, retired principal of one of the higher secondary school in Mysuru, India, past secretary of Rotary Every City in Mysuru. And my husband, past president, Dr. M.K. Sachidarandan, retired professor and dean of education, Karnataka State Open University, is a senior Rotarian of our club. We are living in the beautiful city of Mysuru, Karnataka in India. We bring greetings from our club, President Rotarian Ramesh, and all the members of Rotary Every City, Mysuru. We consider it as an honor and privilege in being with you and talk briefly about our club. We both are charter members of Rotary Every City, Mysuru. Our club was started on 5th October 2015. Several of our members were members of other Rotary Club, started with 14 couples as starter members, and now we are 41 members with 18 couples and 5 stacks. We belong to RI District 3181, which was bifurcated from District 3180 with 3181 and 3182 in 2015. District 3181 consisting of 4 revenue districts of Karnataka state with 86 clubs and more than 4,000 members. There are 20 clubs in Mysore city. Our club meets every Wednesdays at 7 p.m. at our adopted school. We have been acclaimed as one of the most vibrant clubs in the district. We have so far implemented the last 7 years 2 major school projects with the support of district grant and 1 global grant project, Ivory Tender Vision, to provide vision correction for primary school children of rural government schools. The project is worth $45,000. We have screened 50,000 school children and distributed 3,000 spectacles and conducted 45 corrective surgeries and provided 350 diabetic retinopathy laser treatment. The project is completed on 30th September this year. The global grant was supported by 2 clubs from Portugal and 1 from UK. Now we are planning 1 more global grant projects in the area of basic education and literacy. We are looking for some international partners for fulfilling the requirements of TRF. We are a fun-loving club and our average attendance is 75 to 80% for our regular meetings, and every month we are having 2 to 3 fellowship meets. We are the first 100% PHF club in the District 3181. We have sponsored 2 new Rotary clubs, 6 Interact clubs, and 2 RCCs. We have 2 major ongoing projects, Chiguru Ashram, a home for mentally ill destitute women, and a dialysis center at Chamaraj district, jointly sponsored by our club and RC Chamaranagar. We are planning to start a free eye screening center with the support of optometrics from UK at Chamaranagar, which is considered as a backward district with poor medical facilities. I would like to invite you, all of you, to our club for a joint meeting in the near future. Thank you for the patient hearing. A special thanks to Rotarian Jason for inviting us to this prestigious grand old club. Now I would like to present you our club flag.
Let's go down. We'll go down to the front.
Yeah.
Let's go down here. Down the steps.
Good afternoon. I want to thank each of you who have helped with our membership recruitment. To the committee who has worked so hard recruiting vibrant, engaging new members, to each of you who have invited someone to be your guest, talked up Rotary among your family and friends, and brought new members in. Thanks to all of you, we are in the 14th week stretch of introducing new members to our club, and today marks our 29th new member we have welcomed to Rotary under President Peacock's tenure. Any of you who know President Peacock well will know he will continue to push for new members. So please help us continue this impressive streak. Along those lines, our distinguished speaker and fellow Club 99er, District Governor David Mintz has included 20 reasons to join Rotary, which you'll find on your table today. So feel free to take a look at that, snap a photo, pick it up, and help us spread the word. We truly cannot do it with each of you, so please invite a guest and have them join us at the best Rotary Club for food, fun, fellowship, and service. Today, it's my distinct privilege to now introduce our newest member, again, our 29th this year, Miss Mallory McClure and her sponsor, the incomparable Aaron Lubin. I say incomparable because right as I was sitting down, he said, do you know how I first met Mallory and got her to join Rotary? And I said, I don't, it's not in my script. And he said, well, when I had the Ottenheimer French girls in August, I took them out to the promenade to do a little shopping. And I walked into a store and Mallory and one of her coworkers from Amazon were there, and Aaron started chatting with them. And she said, well, my uncle was a Rotarian in Batesville. And he said, well, you should come. And the rest is history. So thank you, Aaron, for embodying our membership recruitment. A little bit about Mallory. Mallory is a native of Batesville. She's a summa cum laude graduate of the University of Central Arkansas's Honor College, where she majored in communication and history. She is in a management position at Amazon's Lit One Fulfillment Center in North Little Rock, and she enjoys all things that the natural state has to offer, from exploring local eateries and museums to trout fishing along the White River. Mallory is always finding new places to explore across the state and across the globe. Her favorite travel destination to date is Edinburgh, Scotland, and she's also active in her work through the Arkansas United Methodist Foundation, where she has worked with mental health professionals to help local congregations understand how they can help bridge the gap between mental health resources. We're delighted you've decided to join us at Rotary. Mallory, congratulations and welcome.
Thank you, Tammy, Jason, and Molly. Welcome to Club 99. And to Mallory, welcome to Club 99. Keeping that streak alive at 14 weeks. Thank you, Tammy, and the membership committee and all of you for your efforts this year. We really appreciate it. Next, I would like for Jana Cohen and then Howard Hurst to join us for special tributes to longtime Club 99ers, Maxwell Joseph Lyons and Jay French Hill.
Good afternoon, Rotarians. You might be wondering why I'm speaking about Mac Lyons today. I don't know Mac as just a Rotarian. I knew him as a friend. In fact, he was one of my father's best friends. And for many years, I spent Saturday afternoons with Mac as he and my dad watched Razorback games on television with what would ultimately become a smaller and smaller group due to the ultimate demise of the TV watchers. However, Mac, as most of you know, lived until the ripe old age of 96, having passed away at his home just a few weeks ago. Mac joined Club 99 on January 1st, 1961, coincidentally the year I was born. So he was probably one of the longest serving members in our club, and you can also probably figure out how old I am at the same time. Not only was Mac a member, he was an engaged member, attending meetings until he was 95 years old and often asking important and thoughtful questions of our speakers. Mac was also an active member of Temple B'nai Israel, where even if he disagreed with the rabbi's sermon or didn't always enjoy certain styles of worship, he attended almost every Friday night, often with his late in life companion, Jane Roark, who passed away just a few years ago. Judaism encourages questioning and debate, and Mac definitely took that to heart. He was active as part of several committees until age 95. The pandemic did not hold Mac back. Many people in their 90s struggled with Zoom and virtual meetings. And even though Mac sometimes forgot to unmute or had trouble logging on, I saw him regularly at Rotary meetings and temple services. In addition, Mac put on his mask and went everywhere he could. He told me he was already old and living alone, and he had no desire to spend time in his house. He worked out at the athletic club regularly until just a few months ago when his health began to fail. Mac truly felt like he was blessed, and he genuinely was. He had a warm and loving family, including 4 daughters, 9 grandchildren, and 14 great-grandchildren. But Mac had an uncanny way of making friends anywhere he went. And his friends included everyone from old guys like my dad, Jerry Jacobson, to young rabbis like Rotarian Joseph Kramer, who all appreciated his sharp wit, questioning mind, and loving heart. Mac drove a hybrid car until he was 95 years old and even was driving to Dallas to see his family well into his 90s. He drove at night in the rain, and even though it scared us all to death, he really couldn't be stopped until his health failed. Only 2 weeks before he passed away, Mac hosted several friends at lunch at his favorite restaurant, Trios. When people pass away, it's common to say they're in a better place now. I believe that Mac's place here on earth was a better place. Perhaps it is our tradition not to dwell on the afterlife, but I know he made the world a better place, and for that, he will be missed. Thank you.
Well, I'm Howard Hurst. I'm honored to be talking about French's dad, Jay French Hill, a friend and fellow Rotarian. Most of you know him, obviously, as French's dad. Or some is Jay Bird, who passed away recently, also at the ripe old age of 96. Also born in 1926. My mother was born in 25. Both only children. I always admired that French and his dad had a very special bond. Now the Hearsts go back a long way, about 200 years in Arkansas. Of course, come on now, everybody knows the Hills have been here for like 300 years. So Mr. Hill grew up in Little Rock. He enjoyed that Lakeside Country Club. There was a lot of Rotarians out there back in the day, including, well, my dad was out there, my grandfather, of course, Sidney Brooks, he was out there. I know French has been out there a lot. He graduated from Catholic high school, then joined World War II in the Army Air Corps as a navigator on a B-17. My dad was also a navigator and World War II. And I remember one night at French's house, we talked, my wife had to beg me to leave because we just had to talk about it. It was great. It was great. He was a fraternity brother of mine. He went to the University of Arkansas, was a Sigma Alpha Epsilon, a true gentleman. He joined his father's firm, Hill, Cranford, and Lanford Investment Banking, where he retired as chairman, CEO in 95. As a volunteer, he was devoted to helping his Catholic faith, the Boy Scouts, and of course, as a master gardener. He was married 59 years to Patsy, who was from Virginia. Those Virginians love their boxwoods, right, French? As a master gardener, he had a lot of boxwoods. Even at his funeral, we, Tipton and Hearst, Martha went and they got some boxwood and
out of his yard and hydrangeas, and we made up a special wreath. So fitting for a master gardener. Anyway, I got to share a little special bond with him. So speaking of master gardener, so at that country club Little Rock, they put us on this grounds committee once. I think they just wanted to get rid of us. But anyway, so Mr. Hill and I, he as the master gardener, me, and so there was really just a committee of two. I figured out they just, you know, they just wanted us to talk. Anyway, became good friends. It was a lot of fun. He really just wanted to go up and swim, and then we'd talk afterwards. He loved the outdoors, and I thought, man, this is great. Swimming with this guy who knows everything. I thought it was great. He, you know, he was 30 years older than me, but he had this knack of treating everybody like you were, I mean, just his good friend. I mean, it was very unique. He was skilled at it. Very much a young at heart, a great conversationalist. And as I said, the swimming, he really, it just made me feel good to hang out with him. Mr. Hill's legacy is, of course, French, but really it's Liza and Payne, his grandchildren. I had the opportunity, they both have worked for me. And so I remember over and over, they always talked to Jaybird. I mean, he had a really strong relationship with his grandchildren. And that's really something we all aspire to have. The greatest generation, J. French Hill.
Thank you both. Both giants of our community and incredibly important to Club 99. They have left us powerful legacies and great examples for us all to follow. They will be missed dearly by their families and all of us at Rotary. On October 28th, we will mark World Polio Day. Please join us in hearing from Rotary International President Jennifer Jones.
Greetings, my Rotary family. World Polio Day is always a wonderful opportunity to take note of our incredible progress and to talk about the final steps necessary to end polio now. But this year, it's special. Polio has returned to the headlines, and it's again striking fear. We know that the whole world is watching. And while we don't want anyone to live in fear, we should be grateful for this focus. We know that if the polio virus exists anywhere, it threatens children everywhere. This fact inspires your continuing hard work, dedication, donations, and advocacy. We're on the brink of eradicating polio because of you, and I want to thank you for it. And I want to add a special thank you to the people on the front lines, everyone working to vaccinate children in Pakistan. I had the opportunity to meet some of them during my recent visit, and I want to share with you a little bit of that experience. I just want to take an opportunity while I'm here with all of you to say thank you. What you're doing is incredibly powerful, meaningful, life-saving work. We're so close to polio being gone, and it's because of you that we're going to cross the finish line, and we're going to make sure every child is protected. So thank you. From one woman to another, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you. I'm so inspired by these amazing healthcare workers, and I hope they inspire you too. So please donate your money, donate your time, and keep reminding everyone you know that the fight is theirs too. Together, let's give this amazing gift to the children of the world.
A reminder that our District 6150 Foundation Banquet honoring our speaker today, Club 99er, past president and current district governor David Menz, will be held at Heifer International Campus the evening of October 27th. The program will feature the 20th anniversary of our Romanian Farmers Feed the Children project with Heifer International, a project led by past president Gary Parrish. Please let Karen or Lel know ASAP if you would like to attend that evening. We have a few seats left at our Club 99 tables. And join us now for a short video about this program and a presentation by Governor Menz on Farmers Feed the Children.
Romania struggled for more than 50 years under communist oppression. Ruthless dictator Nicolae Ceausescu took everything from his country and its people, especially the children. They couldn't eat because their leader exported most of their crops to pay off debt. Instead, he gave them blood transfusions as a pick-me-up. The blood was bad, infected with many diseases, including HIV. Thousands of innocent children were dealt a heavy hand. That's where the Rotary Club of Little Rock and Heifer International stepped in.
Farmers Feed the Children, it's an innovative project. Farmers in Romania provided fresh farm foods to children in need in hospitals and orphanages. Rotary clubs and Heifer International made this possible.
The Farmers Feed the Children project is working to improve the quality of life in the Transylvania region of Romania. By providing a gift that keeps giving, such as cows and chickens, a sustainable hope and recovery is possible.
When we went to Romania 10 years ago, we went over there thinking that we were going to change the world and that we were going to change Romania. The fact is we did make a difference, but Romania in this project changed all of us. We were the ones that were changed.
Gary, would you come up here, please? The most amazing, Gary, I'm going to be like you. The most amazing thing I have ever seen this club do was what Gary started. And because of that, we are giving him a Sid Brooks Fellow Award. Don't do that. This is Club 99's takeoff of the Paul Harris Award. You can only, this club gives the Sid Brooks Award. No other club does. And this is to honor individuals and appreciation for significant contributions to Club 99. The best thing this club ever did was Farmers Feed the Children. And you can see more about it next week. Gary, congratulations.
Wow.
Yeah.
While they're taking a photo, I'd like to say a special thanks to all of our Camp Aldersgate participants. Unfortunately, I was out of town rooting on the Hogs this past weekend, but it looked like an amazing event and a fun time was had by all. I've been told that thanks to the efforts of this club, obviously it's a Rotarian community effort, but this club in particular was the difference in helping Camp Aldersgate reach and exceed its goal of more than $75,000. So to all of you who, if you volunteered, please stand. If you bought a ticket, please stand. We want to thank you for all your efforts. I know Wendy Wood was a big supporter in all this. I know Jason Chaco and others. You guys are amazing. Thank you for supporting Camp Aldersgate. As many of you know by now, during our La Petite Roche Tricentennial, I will spend my year as president telling unique stories about our region's past 300 years. Today, I'd like to share a little history of a fun Arkansas tradition dating back more than 150 years. Already in the midst of its current season, the Arkansas State Fair will bring in tens of thousands daily to partake in its midway, concerts, livestock exhibits, and over-the-top fried food offerings. Although it has been at its current site here in Little Rock for more than 75 years, there is some debate about its origins. The official website doesn't acknowledge this connection, but supposedly the fair dates back to the early 1860s when Little Rock Center, Arch, and 9th Streets hosted a fair for some 40 years. The modern state fair era dates back to 1906 when business leaders in Hot Springs proposed the state fair relocate there to the brand new and ultra-modern Oaklawn Park Racing Facility. Oaklawn hosted the fair in the infield through 1914, and not only was horse racing a fair event, ostrich racing was too. The history is a bit muddy post Oaklawn, but it appears the fair was conducted near the Arkansas School for the Deaf a couple of times, and even Jonesboro for about 3 years. In 1922, it moved to a site near the current Little Rock Zoo and remained there through 1930. The site lent the name Fair Park to the new housing development just south of the site and the boulevard that served as the main feeder to the property. Fair Park Boulevard remains a tribute to the old site even today. How many of you knew that? All right. The Great Depression and war years made the state fair an infrequent event, with North Little Rock and Pine Bluff hosting. Finally, in 1937, El Dorado oilman, colonel, and philanthropist Thomas Harry Barton led an effort to better showcase the Arkansas Livestock Show Association while providing a more permanent home for the fair. The livestock show quickly became central to the prosperity of the Arkansas State Fair, with several well-known acts making appearances, including Roy Rogers in 1939. The city of Little Rock would win a bid and provide a permanent site off Roosevelt Road in 1946. The centerpiece of that site is Barton Coliseum, originally opened in 1948 as an open-air arena. The roof was added in 1951 and dedicated a year later. With 7,150 seats and standing room for approximately 10,000, local newspapers declared it, quote, the finest arena in the South. With the only larger national venues at the time in New York, Chicago, St. Louis, and San Francisco. It would remain the state's largest indoor concert location for several decades, and earlier this spring, it was named to the National Register of Historic Places. Some of the greatest names in entertainment graced the stage of the Arkansas State Fair and the halls of Barton Coliseum. Gene Autry, Tex Williams, Garth Brooks, James Taylor, Jimmy Buffett, Kiss, Loretta Lynn, Bon Jovi, AC/DC, Elton John, Van Halen, Journey, the Eagles, Fleetwood Mac, Aerosmith, B.B. King, Chicago, Chuck Berry, George Strait, Grand Funk Railroad, the Jackson 5, Metallica, Keith Urban, Little Richard, Leonard Skinner, Pearl Jam, Prince, Tim McGraw, Motley Crue, Usher, Willie Nelson, ZZ Top, and even Snoop Dogg. The list goes on and on. It's a bona fide list of the greatest musicians of the modern rock era. In high school, I recall seeing Tina Turner, Bryan Adams, Rick Springfield, Lionel Richie, and many others. Club 99er Kelly Bass wrote a nice piece about its history recently in conjunction with the Old State House Museum's Play It Loud exhibit. Still free to the public through the middle of next year, so please go out and see it if you haven't already. As Kelly noted in his article, 3 of the performers would go on to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and the Country Music Hall of Fame. The Everly Brothers, Johnny Cash, and Elvis Presley. A 4th will soon join them when Dolly Parton is inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. For many rural Arkansans, the state fair was a time to come to the big city. It was for me out of McCrory, and experience thrilling rides and exciting shows. The 1949 rodeo was held in the roofless open-air Barton Coliseum, and from the earliest days of the state fair, a queen has been chosen to represent the Livestock Association. And previously, the state fair would open with a huge parade down Little Rock's Main Street. And did you know that in October of 1963, less than 2 months before he was assassinated, President John F. Kennedy came to Little Rock for an appearance at the fair. His remarks on the New South are available online through the JFK Library Archives. It's fascinating. It's about 10 minutes. You can Google it and find it. Less than a 5-minute drive from the governor's mansion, the tradition of governors and prominent elected officials coming to the fair has continued over the years. Then Governor Bill Clinton was a frequent visitor, and I actually saw the First Lady and Governor Hutchinson there on Friday for the Peacock Group's annual Fair Food Friday tradition. Naturally, fair food continues to be hugely popular among fairgoers. Our team ordered corn dogs, pickle pizza, nachos, turkey legs, and fried brownies. There probably isn't a more diverse cross-section of Arkansans all together in the same place at the same time as there is every year at the state fair. While it's been at its current site for more than 75 years, the fair has visited dozens of sites around our state. So I guess in so many ways, it really is Arkansas's state fair. It's a fun tradition for our family now too. And if you can break away tomorrow night, you're likely to see our family of 4, Melissa, Presley, Hudson, and me, running around the Midway, playing some of the can't lose games, and eating some of that yummy fried fair food. And that's our Illuminating the Rock story for this week. And now I'd like for past president and associate district governor Kenny Gibbs to introduce our featured guest speaker and share with us some of his signature lagniappes.
Thank you, President Peacock. You know, normally I would not read the bio that came in the handout, but today it's just so spot on for the district governor. So David Menz became a member of Little Rock Rotary Club 99 in February of 1979, joining his father as a member. And he served as president of this club here in 99, in 1998 and 99. David received District 6150 Rotarian of the Year Award in 1999. And his wife Evelyn led the first female Rotary group study exchange team to Buenos Aires, Argentina in 1988. He and Evelyn, his mother Patsy, his father Fred, are multiple Paul Harris Fellow recipients. David was born in Sewickley, Pennsylvania, and grew up in Little Rock. He graduated from Little Rock Catholic High School, which is undefeated so far in their football season. Yes. And he received a BA and MA degrees from the University of Notre Dame. He taught junior. Oh, they get beat last week? Oh, Notre Dame. Oh, well, you know, I wasn't going to mention that. Yeah. All right. He taught junior high school in South Bend, Indiana for 2 years before attending Vanderbilt Law School. David practiced corporate real estate and municipal finance law for 45 years, retiring at the end of 2019. David and Evelyn attend Christ the King Catholic Church in Little Rock. His hobbies include golf, tennis, duplicate bridge, traveling, and golden retrievers. He and Evelyn are on their 6th and 7th Goldens, Molly, and Maddox, Margaux. So a little lagniappe here. So David also wrote the 2nd edition of the Service Above Self book, which is about Rotary Club 99, okay, from its beginning. And so what we're hoping is after his term as DG, maybe he'll write the 3rd edition. I'm not getting ahead now. So David is also the oldest of 6 kids, which span over many years. David came home from college one time, and the next morning he woke up and his 3-year-old little sister was standing beside the bed wanting to know, who is the stranger here in our house? So David's brother, Doug Menz, who has worked with me at Merrill Lynch for over 38 years, his dad, Fred Menz, was also a Merrill Lynch financial advisor and retired from Mother Merrill after 38 years in 1988. So David's dad was an excellent teacher also. I guess that's where David got that skill. He even taught his brother Doug how to drive a stick shift while using David's brand new Datsun 240Z that he had purchased with some of his first few paychecks as a new young attorney with Wright, Lindsay, and Jennings law firm. Now, Doug, like all of us, learning to drive a stick shift, rolled David's sweet new ride into the aircraft carrier station wagon, and it smashed the hood into the trailer hitch. So that was a learning experience. But I'm sure Fred saved David many times, like the time when the whole family had been to the midnight mass on Christmas Eve. The family was headed home in the station wagon when they realized David wasn't in the car. So while driving back to the church at 1 p.m., they found David walking down University Avenue in his suit in the snow, headed home. Well, the Menz family has mentored me since I moved to Little Rock in July of 1985. And today is just another step in that journey. I present to you Rotary District 6150 District Governor David Fred Menz.
That was TMI. What I was thinking about doing today was going to do the history of the club because I know it by heart, but that would take too long. So that I can do that for another program. It's a funny thing being up here today with Mac and Jay being honored. My dad was good friends with the two of them. I think he was 2 years older. He died a long time ago, but it makes me feel real good. And the last time I saw Mac was sitting at that table with Mac, where Barry's sitting right now. And boy, we've lost a couple of good ones. You know, the funny thing about me being district governor is this is the meeting that I always did not look forward to. I always tried to skip it. And here I am. So this is mostly going to be ad-libbed. This lovely lady sitting here is my wife. She taught in the Little Rock Public Schools at Horace Mann and Parkview. We dated when she was at Horace Mann, and we got married the year she started at Parkview, so that was an exciting year. There was a benefit to that. I got to go to a lot of homecoming dances and proms, and the funny thing, at each one of those, now this was when music was music, invariably some kid would come up, some young person would come up to my wife and say, "Ms. Menz," and they'd either say, "You can still shake it up," or "You can really get down." So, but that was several years ago. Well, that was when we were in our 30s and 40s. And that's when the music was good that you could dance to. Evelyn did not start off well with Rotary when we were dating. I've been a Rotarian longer than we've been married. We got married in '81. And the first function I took her to was the Schultzer thing. And the president greeted us at the door. It was Marcus George, one of the funniest people you remember, Aaron. And he came up and he said, "David, is this your Rotarian?" And we chatted and he walked away, and Evelyn said, "What did he call me?" And I said, "Honey, I didn't hear what he said." And she said, "I think he called me a Rotarian." She said, "What's that?" And I said, "Well, there's no women in Rotary." And she said, "Why not?" And I said, "Well, I don't know." So this was in 1979, BW, before women. I said, "It's a term of endearment." She said, "I don't think so." Well, anyway, she was converted and she got to go to Argentina because there was no women in Rotary. In 1987, late '87, we were selected to go to Argentina. The group was going to be 4 females. There was a nurse from Conway, a nurse from Little Rock, a lawyer from Little Rock, and a banker from Jonesboro. And at that time, they weren't going to let a male Rotarian take 4 women between the ages of 25 and 35 to a foreign country. You had to have a chaperone. So I said, Evelyn, do you want to go to Argentina? And luckily we were selected. Now, this is when she really got with Rotary. We went to, it was 1 district, and the district was Buenos Aires. That's a little village of about 12 million people. There were 60 Rotary clubs in that town. We visited about 30 of them. And the good thing about those clubs, it was a little bit different down there. The meetings were 2 hours long. And the reason for that was the first hour was a cocktail hour. So you really enjoyed the meetings after a couple of drinks. But the more we went, more Evelyn said, I love Rotary. And toward the end of our trip, a bunch of our new Argentine friends said, hey, we're going to take the ferry over to Uruguay tomorrow. Come with us. And so we said, okay. And they were going to meet a Rotary club from Uruguay. And so you took the ferry across the River Platte, which dumped into the ocean. It was about an hour ferry trip. And we got over there and it was a little town called Colonia. And it was about 20,000 people. I think the town was started in 1580. And we went around town and then we broke for lunch and we had some drinks. And the funniest thing happened. This woman turned into the program. And she made a little talk. It was a short talk in Spanish. And I sat there and I was looking for the Holy Spirit. I mean, she was sitting there going on and I was going, oh my God, I knew she had 2 years of Spanish in high school, but she'd had a couple drinks, maybe 3, and she went on and on. And when she stopped, she got an ovation. And I said, what did you say? She said, I'm not sure, but I think I said this, this, and this, and this. So she was a star. She was the actual program, not a non-Rotarian, being on the program in a little town in Uruguay. You can't make this stuff up. I would be remiss if I didn't say something about Miss Fetzer back there. I followed Barbara Graves, and I remember sitting in the audience when Barbara was selected, and I thought, God, I'd hate to be the person that followed her. Well, it was me. And so I was selected. And Barbara, she said, I'm glad you accepted. There's some things I got to tell you. And I said, well, what's that? She said, well, Kathy's retiring. Well, that was our Rotary secretary for 17 and a half years. And I'm going, oh my God, because Kathy knew everything. She was bossy, wasn't she, Erin? And she kind of ran the club. And I thought, this is not going to be a problem because Kathy runs the club. And so, Barry Simon was on the selection committee, and I was playing golf one day out at PV, and Barry was there, and Barry said, I think we got you a good one. And I said, are you sure? And I said, is she a quick learner? And Barry said, David, don't worry. I think everything's going to be okay. Well, the first thing that Karen was supposed to do was the International Convention my year, of all places, Indianapolis. I'd gone to school an hour and a half away from Indianapolis. So I wasn't excited about that, but Karen did not know that she was supposed to make the reservations at the site. So she made them late. So Jerry and Karen and Evelyn and I flew up to Indianapolis. She got the last room available in Indianapolis. It was kind of in an industrial area. It was kind of like being in Roosevelt Road in the 60s. We drove up to the motel, and it was a motel. And Evelyn looked at me and she said, we're going to die. It was rough. And then it got a little further. We went in, and Evelyn always likes to check out the thread count. She picked up a sheet and you could see through it. So anyway, we lived the first night, and Jerry and Karen and Evelyn and I were having breakfast the next morning, and we were getting ready to go down to the convention site. And I said, what are you going to do today? this woman is smart. She made it, the next international convention was in Singapore, and she was the first one to sign up, Sam Chafin, for a room at the convention hotel in Singapore. And then right after that, she found a great martini bar, so all was forgiven and we lived. And I remember when Evelyn said, we're going to die. And I thought, you know, she might be right, because it was a rough neighborhood. But anyway, I don't know if Miss Duval's, how long did she serve, Karen? Do you know? You have to be the longest serving, and you look exactly like you did. And another thing Barbara said was, by the way, David, the large club convention, which is a convention of all the large clubs in the world or in the US, you're going to have to host it. And I thought, you didn't tell me that either, Barbara. And she said, and typical woman, Barbara said, Evelyn, Karen and I will take care of it. So they did. And I got so many nice notes and I didn't do a thing. This has been a wonderful job. I can't tell you all about it because we've only got 5 minutes, but let me tell you, I have a connection in I have visited, this is my 35th club. I'm doing West Little Rock tomorrow. In every place, there is a connection. 2 people have come up to me and said, I worked with your dad. A person in Helena came up and said, I roomed with your brother Doug, and told me some great stories, which I haven't repeated to him yet, but I'm going to spring them on him when he gets back home. The Rotary president in Forest City, her mother was a sorority sister, a Pi Phi with Evelyn at the U of A. Now, this is a story about Arkansas, and I mean, we are all interconnected. Now, Evelyn's hobby for a long time, I think she oversaw about 10 litters of golden retriever puppies. About 7 or 8 years ago, when Molly was a student at Central High, she came over to our house with her mother to pick out a puppy, and she picked up the puppy, and that was Jack. That was the name of the dog. Well, now, years later, we're related, only in Arkansas. My wife is a twin. Her twin is married to Donnie McNulty. Donnie McNulty had 4 brothers. The youngest was Ted, is now Molly's father-in-law. So that's Arkansas. One thing in my spiel, I say the 2 biggest things that have happened in Rotary are defeating polio, and I've got a riff on women in Rotary. I was speaking to the Downtown Buenos Aires Club, which is a huge club, the biggest club, over 300 people, on August 15th, 1988. Now that was the date that this club brought 10 women into this club. It was long overdue. And it was because Rotary doesn't ever do a bad thing, but they did one bad thing. When a club in California admitted 3 women in the early 80s, somebody snitched on them, and it must have been a terrible bunch of old codgers running Rotary then. You know what they did? They jerked their charter, just cut them off. Well, that club sued, it went to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court voted 7-0. I always wondered about that. I looked it up. Sandra Day O'Connor's father was a Rotarian, so she recused, and the judge from Minnesota was a Rotarian. I'll think of his name in a minute. So it was 7-0. So we brought women into Rotary. I was making a speech on that very day, and I said, I wish I was back at my home club because we're inducting 10 women into Rotary. There was no applause. It was very quiet. Now, there was a few women there. They were the ladies whose homes we were staying in. And a man came up to me, furious, and poked me in the chest. He physically assaulted me. He said, David, he said, that's terrible. I said, what's terrible? He said, admitting women into Rotary. And I said, I think it's going to be a lot better. Right now, I'm thinking that the meeting rooms are going to smell a lot better. But he said, your club will go to hell in a handbasket. Well, fast forward 21 years later, Evelyn and I went down to visit one of the families, Leo and Graciela Josephson. When he said that, Graciela was standing right next to me. And I asked her husband, I said, how many women in your club now? And he put his head down and Graciela said, how's your club doing, David? And that's when we got up near 500. We were the eighth largest club in the world. And by the way, if you're wondering what the largest club in the world is, it's Oklahoma City with 650. And I said, it is a lot better. I said, the women work harder. I said, they cross the T's and dot the I's. I said, it was long overdue. And she said, Leo, tell them how your club is doing. They had gone from over 300 down to about 150. So it is 1 o'clock straight up. In the old days, in 1917, they had an alarm clock. They set it for 1 o'clock. When the bell went off, it rang. I've got a lot more to say, but I'll bring you up to date later on. Thank you. I don't know how this happened. I know Karen was involved. Hank made the ask. I was going to tell him no. Sonia sat next to me at a Rotary meeting and sweet talked me. And she said, what are you going to tell Hank? I said, I'm going to tell him no. She said, that's the wrong answer. I sat there the whole thing. And so here I am. I was mad about it, but I have learned so much and it hadn't been bad at all. And if you want to see an impressive array of people, get more tables and come to the banquet a week from Thursday. I think it'll be a night to remember. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kenny and David. Evelyn, thanks for being with us today. You're a Club 99er, so you know about our Illuminate the Rock year, so I want to give you our pin.
The one bad thing about this job, I look at the programs and I have missed a lot, and you'll start seeing me next week.
Well, we do have a gift for all our speakers this year as part of our tricentennial celebration and in honor of the literacy initiative that we do with our Little Rock school districts. As you know, we're giving gifts to our speakers from Little Rock Connected authors, and this has your name in it. And when we give these books to our elementary schools and resource centers, your name will be listed among the speakers this year who helped make our year very memorable. So thank you very much, Governor.
One more thing, I'm so old. When I practiced law, I did some projects with Denver's dad over in McCrory. So I have been to McCrory, I've been to Beattyville, I've been to Augusta, I have been in your country.
Thank you, Governor. I saw a lot of past presidents today. Thank you guys and ladies for making an effort to be here. We really appreciate your attendance. Next week, American journalist and nationally acclaimed writer, Sam Quinonez, author of Dreamland and Least of Us, will be here. This will be a spectacular program. Don't miss it. And thank you again, Governor, for being with us. We will see you Thursday, and we are adjourned.